Hi kawan, welcome to EDCReady, and today I'm going to do a full review of this Leatherman Squirt PS4 right here. So the Leatherman company is a USA company and they make a bunch of multi-tools. That's what they're known for, and they have pretty much a huge range of multi-tools, from your small ones like this, which is pocket size, you can stick on your keychain, to your Leatherman Surge, to your Leatherman P4. The Leatherman Wave is a very popular one from Leatherman, and it's just one of those things that it's great if you have around, and it's great if you just carry it with you if you are the kind of person that does a lot of handiwork around the office or around the house. You know, it's one of those things that if you have it with you, you don't necessarily need to carry your toolbox around all the time. But if you still need specialist tools, specialist screwdrivers, specialist whatever, then you might as well still take your entire toolbox. But it's like a first line of defense kind of thing. So with that, we have the review of the Leatherman PS4. Now, I have done an unboxing of this particular Leatherman PS4. This particular tool right here, I actually bought second hand. So just keep that in mind. Just know that everything here is going to be based off of a used model. As you can see, it's not really used at all. As you can see, most of the anodizing is still here, and most of the tools are still in fully functioning order. So I think I got a pretty good deal out of this. So first things first, let's get some measurements on this. Okay, got here my thing here. Okay, so the length close here is 2.25 inches. The width close is 0.77 inches, and another important dimension is the thickness here at 0.5 inches thick. Now with that, let's just open it up. Let's just get the length of the pliers itself. The pliers itself are 0.99 inches, and then the total length with the pliers open is, if I can get this ready, yeah, 3.78 inches, and yeah, that's about it. Now, being a keychain multi-tool, it has to be light enough it has to be small enough to fit on your keychain, and it also has to be light enough. So I think it's very important that we get the scale here, just to measure the weight here. Switch this on. Now this is going to be in grams, because my scale only measures in grams. It comes in at 56 grams, which is just a hair under 2 ounces. So keep that in mind. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to do a review of each tool as they come along. First of all, the outside here, it has a nice, I think this is anodized aluminium. The anodization feels good. It doesn't really feel that slippery. It feels like there is some texturing on it, which is great. Another thing I really like is that it has this slight contour here, which means that it's not just a flat piece of aluminium which would be slippery, but it has this nice like little ridge here that you can just grip it. Now one side is slightly thicker than the other side, so keep that in mind. And most of the tools outside are accessible except for the pliers. Pliers, you gotta open it up. So being a plier focused tool, let's check out the pliers. Now the pliers here, one good thing about this is that the pliers comes to a very tight point right here. I've used this as tweezers before. I've pulled out some nose hairs and some mustache hairs, and they really work as tweezers. I don't know if they are as fine as a tweezer that can like pull out splinters from your hands, but regardless, these are pretty passable as tweezers. Unfortunately, the pliers don't really line up perfectly straight, so you gotta push them a little bit, then they become straight. But if not, it still works. It's just like it's not completely flush sometimes. Sometimes it gets a little bit off center. Okay, now the inside of the pliers here, you have these ridges here. These ridges are nice and grippy. As I've told you, I can pull out nose hairs, no problem. But on top of that, you know, you can easily like grip onto something and then twist it, and chances are it's not going to slip because of all these ridges. These ridges are nice and grippy. And then you have these slightly larger pliers right here, so this one works as well. You have wire cutters, which I've never used to cut wires, but I assume they work. They come to they're nice and sharp, and then they also cross. The wire cutters cross up right there, okay, which is great. Now these are spring-fed pliers. Sorry, what am I saying? These are sprung open pliers. Okay, unfortunately they don't really open to the full capacity right here. Now if you look at another keychain multi-tool, the Gerber dime, those have springs as well, like this. See, it opens up on its own, but those open up to a slightly wider gap. These open up to a much smaller gap. In fact, sometimes if you really bear down on it, you really squeeze down on it, sometimes it actually snags up a little bit, this little spring here. So you actually gotta push it back into place. Okay, luckily the other side is still like nicely springy, so it can still push back all the way up to its full capacity. But on the other side here, see, it kind of did not work again, so I gotta push it back out. So keep that in mind. Maybe it's because it's used, I don't know, but let me know if you've experienced this as well. So it doesn't really open to its full capacity. Sometimes it doesn't open much at all if the springs are stuck. So keep that in mind. Okay, so moving on to the outside tools right here. You have a little keychain loop right here, which is fine, nothing fancy. Okay, let's move over to this side. We have a really good set of files. Okay, you have like these like cross files right here, these double files, and then you have a single file right here. When I got the Leatherman, the first thing I used was the files because I had some like overhanging nails because I keep flipping knives and my nails are looking really janky, so I kind of filed it down here, which is great. Now you can also use this as a flathead screwdriver. Okay, if ever you need a flathead right here, this will do well as flathead screwdrivers. And then it's not only up here and well back here, you can also you also have files on the sides here, so which is really great if you need to like go into like any kind of small space and need to file it down like that, which is great. So I really like the pliers. I really like the files. They end up being the favorite tool on this Leatherman. Next up, we have the knife right here. It is a chisel ground knife, which means that the sharpened edge, the bevel is only on one side and the other side is just flat. This is fine. It's an okay, very small knife. It's extremely thin, okay, but it has a pretty robust it's extremely thin, but it has a pretty robust tip right here. I've used this to cut some tissue boxes for my shoulder glider, so that works fine. Although being the material that it is, I'm not sure what is it. I think it's like 420 HC or something like that. I'll double check on that, but keep in mind you would need to sharpen this. I've not sharpened it because I carry around a knife and I use that knife instead of this knife. This knife is just like in case of an emergency. But the problem with this knife is that it's a slip joint, which is alright, but there's nothing here to catch your fingers. So if you're like doing this kind of cuts, which I've used before, and you're slicing something, some precision cutting, and then you kind of flick off that thing you're cutting, you might accidentally press this in and you might catch yourself in the finger right here. So you just gotta be careful. You just gotta make sure all of the pressure is an upward pressure on the knife, and then you don't press and put any downward pressure on the knife right there. Okay, but that's why I carry a knife. So moving on to the other skill right here, you have 4 tools. You have here, if I can get it up, you have a precision flathead screwdriver. So this, a precision Phillips screwdriver. Even though it's a two-dimensional screwdriver, apparently it can work for Phillips head. I've tried it once, it kind of works. It works on eyeglasses as well, that's what I've been told. But yeah, I mean, I would always prefer a proper Phillips head screwdriver than just this two-dimensional one. But nonetheless, it works. But I've used this as a scraping tool more than anything. If I had to scrape off, like say if I bought a present for my friend and I need to scrape off the price tag on it, I'll just use this to scrape off the price tag. No, bada bing, bada boom. The other tool on this right here is an actual flathead screwdriver slash mini pry bar, extremely small pry bar. I have used this as a flathead screwdriver before, and then I've also scraped things off with this before, so that's really good. I've never used this as a pry bar because I carry a pry bar on my keychain and it works really well, but this is nice like if you need something like on the go, and definitely for light pry barring because it is hinged after all. It's not one solid chunk of metal that you can pry stuff with. Now this is a cap lifter or bottle opener, a bottle cap opener. Now at first I thought it's going to be too small to work, then I actually tried it and it actually works pretty well, and I'm quite surprised. Now you're not really, unless you try really hard, you're not going to open up the bottle in one go. You're going to have to go one side and then go 90 degrees and open it again, and then it'll come off pretty fine. But just keep in mind that this works better than I thought it did. And then the last tool on here is a pair of scissors. Again, spring-fed scissors right here. It's pretty fine. I mean, it's really small. You're not really going to cut much of anything with this. I've cut like a tiny piece of paper and then that's about it. It's always good to carry around a full pair of scissors if you have scissors this small. This is more like for strings, for hairs, for nose hairs, for any small amounts of cutting right there. Okay, so pretty short one. So quick conclusion right here. This multi-tool, honestly, I thought that when I got this tool I was not going to use it as much as I did. I thought it was going to be one of those things that I'm going to waste my money on, but I was going to do it for a review. However, the first day I got this, I've already used it twice on the first day. I used the pliers to pull out something from my table. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a little splinter that was on my table, and I pulled it out. And then the next thing I used was the nail file right here to file down my nails. And to be honest, I've used this ever since. When I was taking apart my sugar glider's cage, because I was going to transport sugar glider, I used this to cut up some cardboard box for him so that he can have a little bit of toy. And then I used the pliers to kind of pull on the hinges of the cages to open it up. So definitely this is more useful than I thought it was going to be. Now keep in mind, this is not going to replace any tool you have. Think about a multi-tool is that every multi-tool is a compromise, because you are not getting the best version of each tool. What you are getting is something convenient, something light, something that you can carry around. And that's what this is if you want to get this. It is not a Leatherman wave, it's not a surge, it's not going to solve many problems in your life, but for the problems that do come up in your life, this can be the first line of defense. This can come in and help you in those times that you need a quick fix. And that is what this is. If you're the kind of person who does a lot of stuff but not too crazy, you're not too hardcore, but you need a quick fix here and there, you're gonna want this, okay? And because it's so small and so light, I put this in my coin pocket and I don't feel it at all. It's very unobtrusive. But if you're the kind of person that really wants something hardcore, really wants something that can fix things, maybe you're a mechanic or whatever, then you might as well either, well, you can just bring your full toolkit, your full toolbox. That will actually help really a lot more than a multi-tool. Or if you just want to carry something, then just carry a Leatherman wave or something like that. Alright, so that's the end of the review. Sorry I'm a bit stuttery today. It is very early in the morning, but I want to get this video out. Thanks guys, and stay ready.